Hurricane Milton, a powerful Category 4 storm, left an indelible mark on the state of Florida. With wind speeds reaching up to 150 miles per hour, it was one of the most formidable storms to hit the region in recent history. On that fateful day, the skies darkened and the winds began to howl, signaling the arrival of a formidable force of nature. The atmosphere was thick with tension as residents braced themselves for the impending onslaught. Milton's impact was swift and devastating, leaving behind a trail of destruction and forever etching its name in the annals of Florida's history. Entire neighborhoods were submerged under floodwaters and homes were reduced to rubble within a matter of hours. This catastrophic event tested the resilience of communities, the strength of infrastructure, and the spirit of the human will. Volunteers from across the country poured in to assist in the recovery efforts, showcasing the unity and compassion that often emerge in times of crisis. The hurricane's arrival served as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of coastal communities to the unpredictable fury of nature. The once serene and picturesque coastlines were transformed into scenes of utter devastation, with waves crashing violently onto the shore. As the storm made landfall, it brought with it torrential rains, storm surges, and powerful winds that ripped through towns and cities. The streets turned into rivers, and the relentless rain showed no signs of stopping, exacerbating the already dire situation. The once familiar landscapes were transformed into scenes of chaos and destruction, leaving residents to grapple with the aftermath of nature's wrath. Uprooted trees, damaged houses, and submerged vehicles became common sights, painting a grim picture of the storm's impact. The story of Hurricane Milton is not just a tale of devastation, but also a testament to the indomitable spirit of the human spirit. Communities came together, working tirelessly to clear debris and distribute aid to those in need. Embodying the true essence of resilience, it is a story of survival, resilience, and the power of community in the face of adversity. Rescuers risked their lives to help stranded residents, and shelters became sanctuaries where people found solace and support amidst the chaos. As we delve into the events surrounding this catastrophic event, we will explore the hurricane's impact, the immediate response, and the long road to recovery that lay ahead for the affected communities. Emergency response teams worked around the clock to restore power and provide essential services, highlighting the critical role of preparedness and swift action. The following sections will provide a detailed account of Hurricane Milton's impact on Florida, from the initial landfall to the ongoing recovery efforts. We will examine the challenges faced by the communities, the strategies employed in the rebuilding process, and the lessons learned from this harrowing experience. Through these stories, we aim to shed light on the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering determination to rebuild and recover, no matter the odds. On date of Hurricane Milton's landfall, a day that will be etched in the memories of many for years to come at approximately time of landfall, the world watched in horror as Hurricane Milton made its devastating landfall near location of landfall in Florida. The anticipation had been building for days, with meteorologists tracking its every move and residents bracing for the worst. The storm, packing maximum sustained winds of wind speed at landfall, slammed into the coastline with terrifying force. The sheer power of the winds was unlike anything the region had seen in decades. The roar of the wind was deafening, drowning out all other sounds. It was as if nature itself was unleashing its fury, a relentless cacophony that seemed to go on forever. Palm trees, symbols of tropical serenity, bowed low, their fronds whipped into a frenzy. The once sturdy trees now looked fragile, bending and swaying under the relentless assault. The storm surge, a wall of water pushed ashore by the hurricane's powerful winds, inundated coastal areas. It was a sight to behold, a force of nature that showed no mercy. Homes and businesses were flooded, with water levels reaching several feet in some places. The water crept into every nook and cranny, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The surging waters tossed boats around like toys, leaving them stranded far from their moorings. Vessels that once sailed the open seas now lay helplessly on land, a testament to the storm's power. The force of the storm surge ripped apart piers and boardwalks, turning familiar landmarks into piles of debris. Places where families once strolled and enjoyed the ocean breeze were now unrecognizable. The relentless winds tore at roofs, ripped down power lines, and sent debris flying through the air like deadly projectiles. The landscape was a chaotic mess, with pieces of homes and infrastructure scattered everywhere. Windows shattered, sending shards of glass flying. The sound of breaking glass added to the symphony of destruction, each shatter a reminder of the storm's unyielding strength. Streets became rivers, impassable to vehicles and pedestrians alike. The water flowed with a force that swept away anything in its path, turning familiar roads into treacherous waterways. The fury of the storm seemed to last an eternity, leaving residents cowering in fear, wondering if their homes and their lives would survive the onslaught. Families huddled together, seeking comfort in each other's presence as the storm raged outside. As the hours dragged on, the full extent of the damage began to become horrifyingly clear. The initial shock gave way to a grim realization of the long road to recovery that lay ahead. The once vibrant coastal communities lay in ruins, battered and bruised by the relentless assault of Hurricane Milton. Streets that were once bustling with life were now eerily silent, the only sounds those of the cleanup efforts beginning. The storm had left its mark, a scar on the landscape that would take years to heal. The resilience of the community would be tested, but there was hope that in time they would rebuild and come back stronger than ever before. After making landfall, Hurricane Milton continued its destructive path across the Florida peninsula, bringing its fury to inland communities. The initial impact was felt most strongly along the coastline, where the storm surge and high winds battered the shores, causing immediate and severe damage. The storm maintained its intensity for many miles, its powerful winds uprooting trees, downing power lines, and damaging structures far from the coast. The relentless force of the hurricane left a trail of destruction in its wake, with entire neighborhoods transformed into scenes of chaos and devastation. Heavy rainfall accompanied the hurricane, causing widespread flooding along rivers and streams. The torrential downpour overwhelmed drainage systems, leading to flash floods that swept through towns and cities, catching many residents off guard. The storm's path cut a swathe of destruction across the state, leaving a trail of damaged homes, flooded businesses, and impassable roads in its wake. Streets turned into rivers, and entire communities found themselves isolated, struggling to cope with the aftermath. Communities that had prepared for the worst breathed a collective sigh of relief as the storm weakened, but the damage had been done. The preparation efforts, while crucial, could not entirely shield them from the hurricane's wrath. Residents emerged from their shelters to find a changed landscape, one that would take a long time to rebuild. The full extent of Milton's impact would take days, if not weeks, to assess. Aerial views revealed the widespread nature of the destruction, with entire neighborhoods flattened and infrastructure severely compromised. Emergency services and volunteers began the arduous task of assessing the damage and providing aid to those in need. As the hurricane moved inland, it gradually weakened, its winds diminishing to tropical storm force. However, the threat was far from over. The weakened storm still carried enough power to cause significant damage, and the heavy rains continued to pose a serious risk. However, the heavy rainfall continued, posing a significant threat of flooding to areas already saturated by the storm's initial impact. The relentless rain exacerbated the flooding, turning fields into lakes and making travel nearly impossible in some regions. Rivers and streams overflowed their banks, inundating homes and businesses located in low-lying areas. The rising waters forced many to evacuate, seeking refuge in shelters or with friends and family in safer locations. The storm's path serves as a reminder that hurricanes are not just coastal events. The impact of such powerful storms can extend far inland, affecting areas that might not typically consider themselves at risk. The widespread nature of the damage underscored the need for comprehensive disaster planning. Their impact can extend far inland, bringing heavy rainfall, flooding, and tornadoes to areas hundreds of miles from the coast. The combination of these elements can create a perfect storm of destruction, challenging even the most prepared communities. Hurricane Milton's journey across Florida highlighted the importance of statewide preparedness and the need for communities to be ready for the unexpected, regardless of their location. The lessons learned from this storm will hopefully lead to better preparation and response strategies in the future, ensuring that residents are better protected when the next hurricane inevitably strikes.